News Special Report. Now reporting, David Muir.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're coming on the air because of the major reaction here in the U.S. and around the world of President Trump's sweeping tariffs. The close of trading on Wall Street just moments ago, the stock market suffering major losses on the heels of the president's tariffs. Take a look. The Dow losing, as you can see right there, losing 1,679 points today. Of course, this is the closing of the Dow, and it still actually will fluctuate just a tiny bit here. But right now, the Dow at 40,545, losing almost 4% today alone. The NASDAQ and S&P 500 also plunging, seeing drops that they have not seen in years in those indices. Major markets around the world also reeling. Millions of Americans watching their 401ks, their retirements shrink today, and all of this direct response to the president's tariffs, a 10% tariff on nearly all foreign imports across the board. The tariffs even steeper on Europe, China, Japan, South Korea, among many other nations as well. And the president's new 25% tariff on all foreign cars brought into the U.S., that took effect overnight at midnight. The tariffs already making an impact beyond the markets. America's third largest automaker tonight, Stellantis, saying it will temporarily lay off 900 workers in the U.S. while pausing some of its production in Canada and Mexico. Canada's new prime minister today vowing to retaliate with counter tariffs, quote, with purpose and with force. Other nations preparing to retaliate as well. President Trump defending his tariffs late today, saying, quote, I think it's going very well. He said it was like an operation, like when a patient gets operated on and it's a big thing. And he said, I said, this is exactly the way it is. Economists, American consumers will bear the brunt of higher prices. That's what they say, because companies and businesses pay the tariffs to bring in these cars, the electronics, produce, and other items into this country. And then that cost is often, of course, passed on to the American consumer. So that's the immediate impact of these tariffs. I want to get right back to Rebecca Jarvis, our chief business and economics correspondent. You and I were on the air about this time yesterday when the president announced these tariffs. We saw the futures in the markets show steep declines, and that's what we witnessed here today.
Yeah, they held on to them, David, and then continued to sell off, ending at the worst levels of the session. And to put this into context, what we saw in the markets today was the worst day for stocks since the early days of the pandemic in 2020. I spoke to one trader on Wall Street today who called it the fog of war. And what we saw were multiple companies, Apple, Nike, Gap. These are companies that have thousands of employees here in the United States, but they also have manufacturing. They also rely on supply chains overseas. Those are companies that sold off today.